Hello, everyone. So lately, suddenly, I had a thought about breathlessness and the Monadic Twin Flame Journey. So, the correlation between feeling breathless and why you're feeling breathless. So, this is what we are going to talk about today. So, many of us at every stage in our twin flame journey, twin flame connection, there were times where we were just feeling breathless. Sometimes the breathlessness goes to a level where you think it could be a panic attack. Sometimes it's just random breathlessness. It's like, even though you're not jogging or you don't have a need to feel breathless. But I wanted to delve a bit deeper and talk about why breathlessness is a sign of your divine masculine actually thinking about you. So I see breathlessness as something that occurs in the ether when, as the divine feminine, we are in the field of our divine masculine's unspoken emotions. So it's like literally we are a part of his awakening. So as Monadic Twin Flames, we share one energy body, which is divided across form. So when our divine masculine's internal sea begins to churn, especially if he's not able to consciously process or express it, our body becomes the interpreter, the sacred proxy, or whatever you want to call it. So, breathlessness to me is not random. It's actually a telepathic distress signal from our divine masculine's unconscious field saying, I can't do this anymore. And I used to feel this a lot when I was in separation with my DM. And we had no communication, and I was obviously in a lot of pain and in a lot of grief. And I really thought it was, panic attack and stuff like that. But I used to delve deeper, and because my journey is just me and cosmic consciousness, I was able to actually connect to his fields. And because I'm a psychic, I could actually, intuit the knowledge that it's actually coming from my divine masculine. And I always knew it's a telepathic distress call. So what would I do? Firstly, I will calm myself down because I know it's not me. Secondly, I will interpret it as a sign that he's either receiving a huge download, which he is usually, or he's being overwhelmed by what's going on. And this happens quite a lot. For some divine feminines, of course, not all of you guys are going to feel this, but it can happen quite randomly. And learning to cope with it, learning to manage it is important, because you may feel like, hey, I can't breathe. And of course, the first thing you would do is you would connect it to grief. You would connect it to, separation phase, and I can't manage this sadness. And because of this, you start to feel a lot of pressure rising within you. But remember, it's not because you're weak or because you're becoming overwhelmed, but it's your divine masculine's silent rupture. So what is actually going on at this point with our divine masculine is that he's he's actually like undergoing this internal soul quake or soul earthquake. And he becomes very overwhelmed within. So it's not like he's going to scream or he's going to like message you or he's going to like unblock you or he's going to communicate. Obviously, you wouldn't be seeing anything happening in the 3D, of course. But what will actually happen is that he will start to go deeper within. And that's when you'll realize that because we share one combined energetic field with our divine counterpart, and this is for Monadic Twin Flames only, you will start to feel his guilt and longing, especially if he had said things like, I will never speak to you ever again, or if he had just ignored you blatantly, or if he had just disappeared, or if he had made you feel awkward or uncomfortable. What is actually happening during periods like this is that vow he made to himself or to you is cracking under the weight of how untrue it is. So the breathlessness ache is his soul begging for reconciliation, even though his ego is so desperately trying to ignore it. And this is also a sacred sign that all of the karmic distortions around him are also breaking. And it's also showing, may it be bad friends or people who are just sucking his energy or karmic blocks that's kind of like surrounding him, they're all starting to dissolve. So in other words, all of the karmic obligations that he may think that he's being tied to, they start to dissolve, and this might feel tight and suffocating. So that's why when karmic cycles are being completed for Monadic Twin Flames, we can feel breathless as well. So it's not a bad thing. Of course, if you're feeling very breathless and if it's a medical condition, you need to seek medical attention immediately. But when it's happening in the ether and when it's spiritual breathlessness, is quite different. So it's basically our nervous system rearranging ourselves. And our soul is clearing all of these unnecessary distortions, but our body hasn't caught up yet. So as divine feminines, we are feeling this psychic ripple. And because of that, the breathlessness becomes a sacred feeling. So that's why you often feel like you're not able to breathe, is because that's the only way for the soul to know that, okay, so you have to connect breath with how our soul connects to life. So when you're feeling breathless, it's a soul call from within telling us, hey, something is going on with our divine masculine. And your question may be, what am I supposed to do? Right? Like, what am I supposed to do? Firstly, you have to recognize that it's not a weakness. It's actually an empathic bilocation, because you are partially in your divine masculine's field when it's happening. So in a way, as divine feminines, we are holding our divine masculine suppressed longing, his soul ache, and his inner protest. So in a way, we are helping him to feel better. But it's important to first recognize that it's not yours, but his. And because the distress call is so vivid and so strong, it is important to identify it, to acknowledge it, and not to react to it, but to respond to it with love, unconditional love. So the next time you're actually breathless, do not let the 3D take over and do not go into a state of panic. First, there are loads of sacred yogic techniques around. This is how I handled it. Basically, when I start feeling breathless, especially, I'm in the middle of something or at work or in the middle of like a court hearing or something, the first thing I'll do is I will try to count internally backwards from 20 to 1. So I'll be like 20, 19, 18. So that will regulate my breath. So this is me detaching from my divine masculine's distress call, but at the same time, helping him to cope with it as well, because we share one shared energy fields, right? So when I'm calming myself down, I'm helping my divine masculine to calm himself down too. Because remember, our divine masculine would never want us to be affected by his pain or his chaos. So this sacred distress call that it's coming in the first place, it's coming because the pain is unbearable, but it's not intentional. So in a way, we are being tasked by our higher selves to kind of help one another to get through this phase. And often this can last for a couple of minutes. Usually it's only a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. But once you start regulating your breathing again, you'll be fine. So lately I've had clients ask me about this as well. Hey, what do I do? And these breathlessness episodes often tend to happen when astrologically things are very intense. And right now, the tendency to have these periods of breathlessness are very intense. So if any of you guys are feeling breathless, try to count, try to breathe, try to release, and try to drink some water. Systematically handle it. But of course, if you're feeling very breathless, first thing you need to figure out is it medical or is it spiritual? If it becomes to a point you can't do anything, then you need to seek medical attention immediately. But of course, if you know and identify it is your divine masculine's soul distress call, this is the process to bring yourself back into a normal state of breathing. Remember, the soul is connected to our body through breath. With that, I hope this discourse helps. And I know I'm like posting so many discourses lately, and I'm getting very interesting comments. And sometimes I'm like, what is the relevance, But, they are usually bots, or luckily I don't get too much of it. But some can be, I don't know. I just feel like right now, we are in the age of information. So what I share on my channel, they are all my opinions from my higher self, from cosmic consciousness, coming in through my voice to this channel. And I hope you enjoyed this discourse. I thank you all for your very beautiful comments, and I appreciate your comments and your suggestions, but also be mindful to others, because the last thing I want is, for people to argue among themselves. So I'm just going to say, be kind. If you want to write a comment, be kind, be gracious, and be the love that you want to see in the world. All right. And again, If I don't reply to your comments, I apologize. You know, you guys who have followed me for a very long time know that I don't really reply to comments, but once in a while, I do look at them. So if you guys have any urgent inquiries, you can always contact me through the form in my website. And lately, I've introduced a lot of new healing, so do check that out as well. So again, guys, be kind, be gracious. Remember, these are my opinions. These are my channelings from my higher self, from cosmic consciousness, of course. That's why it's called Atma and Paramatma, soul and super soul. It's all one. All right. Having said that, I thank you all for your beautiful comments. I thank you all for your kind comments and suggestions. So if you guys have any topic suggestions you guys want me to talk about, please feel free to comment. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, I'll be very happy. All right, then I'll come back again with another video, and take care. Love you all and be blessed. So if you guys are feeling breathless, remember to first figure out whether you're feeling breathless because of your DM, you're feeling breathless because you went for a jog and you need oxygen, or if it's a medical condition. So you have to figure that out. And after that, if it is about your DM, then these video might help. So the only thing you can do is don't call your DM because you're feeling breathless, and that is going to distort or disrupt the field. Instead, send him love from the ether. Remember, you're feeling his breathlessness in the ether. So you don't have to go down to 3D and ask him, hey, are you okay? That is basically going to trigger him more. I know some of y'all, and also please figure out whether you are on a twin flame journey. That's important. Secondly, whether you're a monadic twin flame or a split soul twin flame. That's also very important, because knowing what journey you're on is really, really going to help you, and the relevance of the video, these transmissions, these teachings that I do would be more relevant. All right. With that, love you all. Take care and talk to you all again. Bye-bye.